Hello everybody, welcome back to my gaming review. I want to make a quick video on the Atari 2600, just talk about like the history, well not like the history of like when it came out and all that boring crap that nobody cares about. I want to talk about like my personal history with the console, why I ended up buying the system even though I never grew up with it and never actually had one before, and why I just honestly like the Atari 2600, even though I have an Xbox and a PlayStation 4 and all these modern systems. But why do I still keep an Atari 2600? Why I choose to buy one a little while ago, and yeah, I just want to talk about the history, how I got into it, and even though I'm in my 20s, I still like to use this thing every once in a while. And my favorite game is Battlezone, which is this awesome first-person tank game. But anyway, let's just get into some history. So, whenever I talk to my mom about gaming, I always tell her like, hey, what was the game system that you grew up with, And my mom always would say that she had the Nintendo Entertainment System and she also had the Atari 2600, which always made me very interested because I never knew anything about the Atari 2600. I never knew anything about Atari as a company. I didn't know nothing about it because I never grew up with one. I never had one. I had PS2, I had Xbox, I had Nintendo, but I never ever got to experience the Atari 2600. So over the years, what I have done to find out more about the system was I would watch these videos on YouTube. I would watch like, what's his name? I forgot what his name was, but I used to watch all these videos about the Atari 2600. I used to watch the history videos. I used to watch all of the like different models that you can buy. You got like, this is the 2600 Junior. You got the other Junior that has the longer rainbow. You got the wood grain Atari 2600. You got the Darth Vader 2600, and it was all just very fascinating. And I would watch people play the games, and I was like, would I actually like this thing? Because I would watch people play games on the Atari 2600 on YouTube, and they would play games like Space Invaders, and I think it's Pitfall, and the Sea game. I would watch people, play like the classic Mario Bros, the old like Pac-Man and all that. And I was like, this console is very interesting, but do I actually ever want to buy one? So a couple years ago, I started to look at the prices of the Atari stuff. Now, my first Atari I ever actually bought was my 7800, my Atari 7800 Pro system, which honestly, I like my 2600 more than my Pro system, because, I don't know, this one's just better in my opinion, plus it's a lot smaller, fits anywhere, I could just put it up in here if I wanted to and place Battlezone. But, I got my 7800 a couple years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I bought Dig Dug, I bought Mrs. Pac-Man for it, and that was my first time actually experiencing Atari, but not exactly 2600 like my mom's original console. So, after watching all these videos, I started to get into Atari. I got the 7800 first, I absolutely loved it, and eventually I got the Atari 2600 Junior, which was my first 2600 console. And I have to say, I really love the system. I got the original Pac-Man for it, I got, obviously, Battlezone for it, I got a game called Fast Food, I got a whole box of games up there. A whole box of games. Plus I have the Atari hat. But, my experience with the systems has been amazing, and originally I was really afraid to get into it because I was like, well, I have an HD TV, I have, I've never experienced this before, am I even gonna like it, is it gonna be even worth picking up and buying? And honestly, I'm really happy that I bought the Atari 2600, I'm really happy I got my 7800, because the games are actually really fun. And even though it's like super duper old, even though it's super basic and, You can't download games to it. You don't have wireless controls. It doesn't use HDMI. It uses the RF connection focus, and it has all these weird switches on it. I mean, it is a really old system. This is like what the this is hold on, I might make a mistake. Second generation, I think. It's either second or third generation. But it's like the second or third generation of game consoles. It's super old, obviously, And a lot of people who grew up with Atari, I've seen them make videos of like, people who are younger wouldn't understand, or people who are younger, probably wouldn't be fascinated by something like this because, yes, we have Xbox, we have PlayStation, we have Nintendo. But honestly, it's a really great system, and I have had a lot of fun with it. I've had a blast with it. My favorite game is Battlezone, and probably Battlezone and Pac-Man are my favorite games on the system. I also like the Mario Bros. That came out for the Atari. But my experience has been great. It plugs right into my TV like any other normal console. I just hook it up to my little antenna thing. I'm good to go. And I also picked up a red Sega Genesis controller because this actually uses the same connection as the Sega Genesis. So I can actually hook my Sega Genesis controller up to my Atari 2600 to have a better controller and just a better experience, because the one thing I have to say about the joystick is screw that. The joystick hurts my hands, it's terrible, and they are freaking stiff. So I've been using my Sega Genesis controller for my Atari 2600 because the little stick, it ain't good. It ain't worth it. It freaking hurts my hands. So I'm really happy that they have third-party controllers you can use, plus the Sega controllers, which just makes the experience so much more better. But I just want to talk about like my personal history of the system, how I got into it. Basically, this is my mom's first system that she ever had. She had the wood one, the original, giant wood grain Atari. But she would tell me about it being one of her first game systems. And then, I watched a bunch of videos on it. I did my research on it. I was like, this is actually really cool. And that's how I ended up with the Atari 2600 as a part of my game collection. My entire gaming collection. But anyway, I'm in the video. I hope you like, and leave a comment down below if you ever have experienced Atari, or if you ever have played Atari before, or if you actually own a 2600. But anyway, I'm in the video, so peace out, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Again, comment down below what you think. Oh yeah. Atari 2600, baby.